truly helpful. Here is a short story about Michael, a mail carrier who discovered that his real job was not deciding what should be delivered, but faithfully carrying what had been given to him. Michael worked at a curious little post office called the Miracle Mail Depot. Above the front door was a brass sign, "Deliver only what heals." Every morning, Michael arrived before sunrise, put on his blue delivery jacket, filled his satchel, and studied the day's route. He liked being prepared, very prepared. He checked the addresses twice, sorted the envelopes by color, planned shortcuts, estimated traffic, watched the weather, and carried 3 pens in case 2 failed. One morning, the postmaster handed him a simple white envelope. "No address?" Michael asked. "You'll be shown where it goes." "No name? You'll know when you arrive." Michael turned the envelope over. "Nothing. This is not how mail works." The postmaster smiled. "That is why this is Miracle Mail." Michael slipped it cautiously into his satchel. Before leaving, he noticed a card pinned beside the sorting table. "I am here only to be truly helpful." He had read it hundreds of times. That morning, it felt different. His first stop was a house where 2 brothers were arguing on the porch. Michael reached into his bag and immediately thought, "I know what they need." He pulled out a package marked "Good Advice." The satchel snapped shut. He tried again. This time he reached for "Prove the other person wrong." The bag became heavier. Then he remembered the card. "I am here only to be truly helpful." He became quiet. The white envelope suddenly warmed inside the satchel. Michael took it out. An address appeared. "Deliver here." He handed it to the brothers. Inside was a single card. "Listen before you answer." Both men became still. Michael walked away smiling. At the next street, he found a woman sitting beside a broken bicycle. His mind immediately began sorting solutions. Call a mechanic, find tools, tell her what she should have done, fix everything. The satchel grew heavier again. Michael stopped. "I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do." The weight disappeared. He waited. Then a simple thought came. Ask what would be helpful. So he did. The woman laughed. "Actually, I only need someone to hold the bike steady." Michael held it. She slipped the chain back onto the gears in less than a minute. "That's all?" he asked. "That's all." Michael looked at his overstuffed satchel and chuckled. By noon, he began noticing something strange. Whenever he tried to decide by himself what another person needed, his route became confusing. Streets seemed longer, clocks ran faster, packages became heavier. But whenever he stopped, listened, and allowed himself to be directed, the route somehow opened. Traffic lights turned green. People appeared exactly where they needed to be. A shortcut he had never noticed led directly to the next address. At one point, Michael checked his watch. He was 20 minutes ahead. How did that happen? The postmaster's voice came through the little radio clipped to his jacket. "When the miracle leads, time and space can adjust." Michael stared at the radio. "You can hear me?" "I've always been available." Michael laughed. "I've been too busy planning." His next delivery took him to a hospital room. A man lay quietly by the window while his family whispered anxiously nearby. Michael felt nervous. What could I possibly say here? He reached into the satchel. There were packages labeled, "Cheer 'em up, explain why, make it better." None felt right. Michael closed his eyes. "I am here to represent the one who sent me." He waited. Then he felt only one instruction. Sit down. So Michael sat beside the man. No speech, no advice, no attempt to fix anything. After several quiet minutes, the man opened his eyes and smiled. "Thank you," he whispered. "For what?" "For not trying to make me different." Michael understood. True help was not always an action. Sometimes it was the absence of interference. Late that afternoon, Michael reached the final stop on his route. 2 neighbors stood shouting across a fence. Each one demanded that Michael deliver a thick envelope proving the other was wrong. One was labeled judgment. The other, blame. Michael looked at both and shook his head. "These are not authorized deliveries." "Why not?" one neighbor demanded. "Because nothing healing is inside them." He reached into his satchel. The white envelope appeared again. This time it contained 2 identical cards. Michael handed one to each neighbor. They read, "Correction without condemnation." "What does that mean?" one asked. "It means I can recognize that something needs correction without turning anyone into an enemy." The shouting stopped. Not because every disagreement vanished, but because the purpose had changed. They were no longer trying to win. They were willing to heal. As sunset colored the streets gold, Michael returned to the Miracle Mail Depot. His satchel was completely empty. The postmaster looked up. "How was the route?" Michael smiled. "Much easier once I stopped trying to run the post office." The postmaster laughed. That is a lesson many delivery people take years to learn. Michael hung his jacket beside the sorting table and looked again at the card on the wall. "I am here only to be truly helpful." Underneath it, he added another line. "I do not have to decide the message. I only have to be willing to deliver it." From that day forward, Michael still carried letters, packages, groceries, medicine, and ordinary mail. But he no longer believed his function was to control the route, judge the recipient, or invent the message. He simply listened. And whenever help was truly needed, somehow the right delivery was already waiting. May we sing, rest, and dance our way home together.